The LDS faith is the only one that exists that's positively correlated with education. The more educated its members are, the more active they are in church, the more faith they have. And I think that that's because we don't feel like we need to invent our own truth. We don't feel like it's separate from God's. We want to learn the way that things are in their eternal natures. And yeah. So Darwin, who was a scientist who's often cited with, coming up with ideas that would counteract God's hand in the evolutionary process, actually said that the eye, with all its inimitable contrivances, could have been formed by natural selection seems absurd in the highest sense. There are a lot of scientists and people who come to an understanding of a truthful way of the world, biologically and chemically, who don't necessarily think that opposes a divine hand in the way that things work.
Okay, when I signed up to take anatomy,
it was one of the biggest testimony builders for me this semester.
When I first signed up for anatomy,
I didn't really understand how powerful they were.
When I first signed up to take anatomy, I didn't think that it was going to affect my testimony, but it turns out that it was one of the biggest testimony builders for me this semester. My testimony grew the most when we talked about pregnancy and learned how it is that a child develops, and it finally hit me that our physical bodies are one of the greatest creations that Heavenly Father has given us, and I think it's so cool that He trusts us enough to let us bring His creations into the world.
When I first signed up for anatomy, I had an appreciation and a love for priesthood blessings, but I didn't really understand how powerful they were until we were studying the brachial plexus of the arm.
When I first started taking anatomy, I was pretty nervous about the course. I'd heard it was really difficult and I wasn't sure that I would have enough time to study, and I was also really nervous about working with the cadavers. I heard that they smelled pretty bad and that it was common for people to pass out, and I was nervous that I was going to be one of those people, but the cadavers actually ended up being my favorite part about the class. I enjoyed the 2 hours a week we got to spend in the lab, and also the extra lab hours that we could sign up for during the week. I really enjoyed being able to be up close and personal with the cadavers and being able to see how intricate our bodies really are and how everything really works, and just being able to see the different structures and organs. And it's amazing to me how the body functions, and it just strengthened my testimony that we truly are designed by a loving Heavenly Father who designed our bodies this way so that they would function, and that we could be able to do all the things that we do.
Education through the eternities means continual learning and building of the foundation of knowledge. It is important to learn all that we can now, because we will have that knowledge with us forever. We can take and apply all that we learn here on this earth life when we are creating worlds of our own through the gospel of Jesus Christ.
I was especially thankful to take anatomy here at BYU because the religion was able to be so closely tied with the secular things. It's amazing to be able to connect something like priesthood blessings with all the intricacies of the human body. I was really happy to be able to learn about other things like the pregnancy and the gift of God that we have for that, and many other subjects that wouldn't have been the same if we didn't have the religious side to it.
I'm really grateful that I had the opportunity to take an anatomy class at BYU as opposed to another school, because I really enjoyed just the spiritual aspect that was focused on in our labs and also in our lectures, when the professor and also the TAs would tie in spiritual lessons with what we were learning. It really helped me. It helped strengthen my testimony and also helped me understand the body more. And I also really appreciated how much respect was shown for the cadavers in the labs. We were told to treat them with the proper respect and also refer to them by their names and not just call them bodies or the cadavers. And I think that that's important, because it's important to remember that these were real people and they have spirits too.
I'm thankful that I was able to learn about pregnancy and the child developing here at BYU, because we have such a solid knowledge of the plan of salvation, and we know how cool it is and how important it is to be able to bring children into this life and what that means. And we're aware of the trust that Heavenly Father has put in us to take care of His most greatest creations, and that He loves us and is here for us. And I'm thankful that I was able to learn about my own physical body and grow closer to my Heavenly Father through doing that. And be aware of His love for me.
I was nervous of the challenges that came with taking an anatomy class. It was something that was new and different to me, and I feared that I wouldn't understand it. However, once I started learning the material, I didn't want to stop. I learned to love a course that at first I couldn't comprehend. Anatomy has made me want to further my education both here at BYU and continually throughout my life.